everyone, and welcome to YarnGasm. I'm Kristen, and this is episode 212. If you are a returning viewer, thanks so much for coming back, and if you are a new viewer, thanks so much for checking out the podcast. This is a podcast about knitting, spinning, hand-dyeing yarn, and sewing, and making all the things in Brooklyn, New York, where I'm from and I live. And as always, I'm really happy that you're taking some time out of your day to chat about some of those things with me. So last week I did a quick recap of Rhinebeck weekend, so a lot of you gave me some great feedback. I'm glad you liked the episode. The hangover has passed. So yeah, I feel like I've been, catching up with other podcasts, podcasters who also attended Rhinebeck, and it seems everyone was exhausted after that weekend because yeah, you are out the whole entire day, or weekend I should say, socializing in fresh air and everything, and just it's a lot to take in, and when you finally get home, you don't realize how exhausted you are. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and obviously I can't wait to do it again next year. But I have quite a bit of a haul to work my way through, so I think I'm good. But the next big event to come down the pike is going to be Vogue Knitting Live here in New York City. So I am super excited about going to Vogue Knitting Live this year because, you guys, Laura from Jinx Yarns and the Dyer's Notebook is coming to New York. She's gonna stay with me, and she's gonna come with me to Vogue Knitting Live. So I am super excited about that, and so is she. And yeah, because she mentioned that she really missed going to Rhinebeck this year, and we were talking, and I said, well, why don't you just hop on a plane and come to Vogue Knitting Live with me, and we can all hang out with all our knitting friends and everything. And yeah, lo and behold, she got plane tickets and she's coming to stay. So yay, super excited about that. So yeah, there's that. And then the other announcement that I want to talk about before I get into what I've been making is I will be doing another trunk show at Do You Knit in Westfield, New Jersey. And you guys, I'm stoked. The last time I did a trunk show there, I believe it was towards the end of winter, I think there was still snow on the ground, but it was a lot of fun. Granted, I definitely should have brought more yarn with me, but it was a lot of fun, and I talked with Karen, and she's excited to have me back, and I will definitely be dyeing more yarn. I will have more yarn on hand, but the trunk show will be on Saturday, November 19th, 2016, so just in time before the holidays really start to kick in. But yes, it will be November 19th from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. I will put all the information in the show notes, which can be found at YarnGasmPodcast.com. Everything that I talk about in this episode will be posted in the show notes there. So, but yeah, super excited for that. And yeah, can't wait to, if you're going to be in the area, do stop by, say hello. Yeah, it was just really fun getting to meet and chat with people last time I vended there. So yay. Okay, so I think that's it for announcements this week. And yeah, moving along, I have some finished objects to share with you. You guys, I have 2 finished objects and 1 hoe. That never happens, never. So, but this week I do have, well, they're finished because they're small. That's the key right there, or the secret. But yeah, last time I recorded a full podcast, not a vlog. I vlogged last week, I didn't podcast. But the week before when I podcast, I had cast on a vintage PRIM hat, which is a lovely pattern by ANDREA MOWRY. And it excuse me, my throat's so groggy. It incorporates brioche, which is a new technique that I've just learned, and I'm falling head over heels for it. So if you have caught the brioche bug, you should probably cast one of these on because it's really fun. I would say if you are incredibly new to brioche, start out with something, just a plain simple contrasting brioche pattern, like a cowl, or even the exploration station. There's just one little row of brioche that's great for learning. So, but I would say this would be the next step because it incorporates all different types of brioche increase and brioche decrease stitches. But anyway, let me show you the finished pattern, the finished product. So here it is, and I had so much fun knitting this, you guys. I mean, there was a couple of times when I had to rip back a little bit towards the beginning, but once I got the swing of it, it was just really enjoyable. And I used Manostel Uruguay yarn for the main color, this kind of like wavy gravy pooling like purple gray colorway here. And normally I'm not a huge fan of pooling, but I really love the effect it lends to the overall look of the hat. So I really just, yeah, I don't mind it at all in this. I think it turned out really awesome. But yeah, I found the logo for this, and again, I used the main color was by Manastel Uruguay and their LEHRER base. So let me see if I can get that to focus. There we go. And it's 75% superwash merino and 25% polyamide. And I purchased this yarn at Vogue Knitting Live last year. No, it always feels like last year, but no, it was this year in last January. So, you know, I worked from Stash, finally, which I'll talk about in a little bit, about working from Stash. But anyway, so, and the contrasting colorway is Ancient, what is it? Ancient Fiber Arts, I think. I always mess it up. It's Ancient Arts yarns in their Meow collection, and their Meow collection is pretty much, they have a photo of a cat, and then they dye a colorway based on the coloring of that cat. And any skein that you buy from their Meow collection, a portion of the proceeds go to cat shelters and, you know, cat charities, and just a really awesome program that they have. So yeah, and I just really, it's just like a slate, like a black slate, tonal black gray, I guess. And yeah, I think it went really well with the main colorway. So yeah, again, really enjoyable knit. I'm kind of debating whether or not I want to try it on because my hair is gonna get all messed up, but why not? All right, I'll put it on. And I'm not really exactly sure the right way to wear it. It's slouchy, which is perfect. I love slouchy hats. So yeah, I'm really pleased with the way it turned out. I didn't block it, only because I was watching Candace from the Pin Feathers and Pearls podcast, and I believe she knit her vintage prim hat out of superwash yarn as well, and it kind of, it enlarged slightly. So I don't know, I tried it on and I really like the slouch that it has already, so I don't think I'm going to block it. But I guess eventually I'm going to have to wash it, so blocking might actually have to happen. But for now, it's fine. I will just wear it as is. So yeah, really happy with the way it turned out. As I mentioned for the 100th time, I could definitely see myself knitting another one. And yeah, it makes a great gift. So that is one finished object. And let me see, how's my hair look? How's my hair? All right, that's doable. And the second finished object is another hat, and I cast this on, when did I cast? I think a week ago. I don't think it made it into the last podcast, but Dennis, my husband, has been requesting that I knit him a hat. He picked out yarn. The last time we were in Cape Cod, we had stopped by a great yarn shop, and they were having a sale on some Swan Island yarns, and he picked out this, you know, neutral gray. It's sport weight in their Swan Island sport weight in the graphite colorway. And I was browsing online. Oh wait, no, I remembered that Jacqueline from the Brooklyn Knit Folk podcast is hosting a Elementalong, which is based on the, what is it, the Sweep series, which is a young adult book series. And she picked out some patterns that coincide with the different elements, fire, wind, fire, air, water, and earth, I believe it is. Yeah. Anyway, so this was one of the patterns that she picked out. And again, Candace from Pin Feathers and Pearls, she inspired me again because she also knit one of these hats. And I was like, done, done, and done. So anyway, I finished the hat. Dennis loves it. I was a little concerned. There's a little pooling here, you can see. But that's fine, it's whatever. But anyway, but yeah, the hat is awesome. I love the effect, I love the texture of it. It's all the way around, so you have like this like dense herringbone texture right here, and then kind of like a loose spaced out herringbone texture. And I will say it wasn't a piece of cake to knit. I found like there's a left-leaning twisted stitch and a right-leaning twisted stitch that you have to create, and I found the left-leaning twisted stitches to be a little fiddly. They were kind of like, I did have to purchase new needles that were a little bit sharper, but yeah, it was just, I don't know, like it hurt my hand a little bit. So, but it was definitely worth it, I think, for just the overall effect of it, and Dennis loves it. I was a little concerned. I followed the pattern to a T. I was a little concerned that it would be a little too small, because the plan was to knit a long rib, along, you know, ribbing so we could fold it up, but again, if I were to knit this again, I would probably make this a little extra longer and add another 1 or 2 repeats of this texture pattern. So, or pattern repeat. I can't talk today, guys. I'm a little frazzled, fried, whatever you want to call it. It's been a long week. So, but anyway, he tried it on this morning. He loves the way it fits. This part is perfectly long enough for it to fit right below his ears, so it's the perfect length and everything. He just can't fold it over. So I don't know, I'm toying with the idea of maybe knitting another one with the modifications that I just talked about, and maybe if that turns out the way I had originally planned, maybe this will go to my nephew or niece. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, yeah, I could definitely see knitting another one because I really do love the texture of it. And I almost wish there was a matching mitten pattern to go with it, because I am in the market for a new pair of mittens. But anyway, so that is another finished object. And now we were talking about hose, or half objects, I should say. But I finished, on the way to Rhinebeck, I had cast on a pair of Mooncusser socks, which was my mystery Halloween skein that I dyed up, limited edition this year. It'll be available next year, next Halloween season, but I only dyed a limited batch of them. Of course, I had to keep one for myself and cast it on. But I have one that's done. So, and I made a little bit of a shorter cuff, and normally, usually, I always knit like a cuff that's about maybe 6 inches long, and I think this one's only 4 inches long, and I think I like the shorter cuffs better. I don't know, they have a better fit, I think. So I think going forward, I'm only going to knit like cuffs this long. Yeah, so anyway, it's just a vanilla cuff down sock with what do you call it? Fish lips kiss heel. So, but I really love the way these colors play together. So yeah, and just so delightfully autumnal and speckly. And yeah, I cast on the second sock, and I knit the heel last night. Dennis and I were watching some TV, and here's where I am with the second sock. And again, I just really love the way these speckles are playing with each other. So yeah, I could see myself finishing these either tonight or tomorrow. Maybe not tonight, obviously not tonight, but maybe getting to the toe decreases tonight, because Dennis and I found another series to binge watch during the week, which I'll talk about in blather. But yeah, so this is pretty much what I've been working on while we watch TV. And I guess this will segue into mail, because right now these socks are living in this awesome project bag that I received from Hannah of Hannah Made It. Wait, I believe it's Hannah. Hannah Made It? Oh my goodness. Hannah Made It. Yes, I was right. But yeah, Hannah from Hannah Made It on Etsy, and I will post a link to her shop, contacted me, and she is awesome, you guys. She saw this fabric and made a project bag for me that I opened the package and I literally squeed, because it is just so me. She has my number totally. But yeah, it's been living in this project bag with zombies. Pin-up zombies. I love it so much. And you guys, the background, it's mauve. It's mauve. It's so cool. And here's one side. And do you see this? I don't know if you can see, but she's eating a brain burger. A brain burger. Yeah, just genius. And then on the other side, so awesome. So thank you so much, Hannah. Oh, but wait, that is not all. Check out the lining, you guys. Unicorns! I cannot get enough of this bag. It is so cool. But yeah, anyway, my socks have been living in here, so thank you so much, Hannah. This was really, really lovely to get in the mail and exciting. So I will definitely post a link to her Etsy shop in the show notes. So yeah, I think that is it for finished objects and hose. as far as works in progress is concerned, I have quite a bit on the needles at the moment. I've been kind of naughty. I haven't been working on my Recoleta cardigan that I had originally cast on with the intention of knitting a Rhinebeck sweater. I realized that I had fudged up some of the stitches and I'm going to have to frog back. And yeah, so, but right now I feel like I've just been doing a lot of ripping back and re-knitting. I can't quite wrap my brain around frogging back anything right now, so it's kind of on a timeout at the moment. And just so you know what I'm talking about, here's my Recoleta, so you can see what I'm talking about. So I separated the sleeves. Let me see, this is the right side? Yes, this is the right side. So this is the neckline, and the sleeves have been separated, and now I'm just working on the body. And yeah, the body, this is the top. It's a little confusing. So yeah, the sleeves, and now I'm just working on the body. And you probably can't even see it, but I can tell I messed up somewhere, like up here near the sleeve separation. So I'm probably gonna have to rip back about an inch and re-knit that part. So I don't really want to do that right now, so it's on a timeout, but I will not forget it. You're like, yeah, Kristen, that's what you say. I don't know, whatever. I'm just going with the flow at the moment, like whatever. I'm just kind of indulging in whatever I want to knit on right now, if that makes any sense. So yeah, you know, it's taking a break, all right? And you probably think, okay, well, if your sweater's taking a break, you have no business casting on another sweater or cardigan, right? I'm naughty, you guys. So I was browsing, you know, because I do want a sweater for Vogue Knitting Live, and while I could work on that, I actually fell in love with another cardigan that I spotted on, well, actually, Katie from Inside Number 23 got me looking up this designer's projects, and I spotted the, what was it? Coriander cardigan by Jennifer Wood. Katie had knit another cardigan by Jennifer Wood that I think is absolutely gorgeous. But I had some sweaters worth of Plucky Knitter that I purchased from Gauge Intention when they were still open. They had a Plucky Knitter trunk show, and I fell in love with this colorway. It was called Greenpoint. It's actually right here. So yeah, I really wanted to knit a sweater out of this, and I fell in love with the Coriander cardigan pattern, which I will post a photo of right here so you know what I'm talking about. And I swatched it, and I got Gauge, and I cast it on yesterday, but this happens all the time. I'm really not liking the knitting needles that I'm using. It's not jiving with this type of yarn. I'm using bamboo. Apparently I have a lot of bamboo needles, so I am going to have to replace those with preferably Hiya Sharps. Just because bobbles are involved. I really didn't notice that bobbles were involved in this, but they're subtle bobbles. They're not like those big, ginormous, bobblehead thingamajigs that you see on some sweaters, but anyway, bobbly. I'm just making stuff up again, guys. But anyway, so yeah, there's some subtle bobbleage going on the cardigan. So yeah, I think it will be in my best interest to track down some Hiya Sharps for this project. Especially because this wool is just so woolly, you know? So yeah, it definitely has like a really nice woolly hand to it. So super excited to cast that on. So yeah, as I mentioned, I cast it on yesterday, but I didn't get too far with it because I realized I needed sharper needles. So I'm just gonna frog back and recast on when I get those needles. But anyway, so that's one of the projects that I'm working on right now, or going to be working on. And the other one that I have been working on, I actually made myself a project bag. I kind of needed like a sewing palette. Well, since it's in my hands right now, I'll talk about it instead of holding off till sewing to talk about it, but I kind of needed a little palette cleanser at some point, and I was like, what better way to cleanse my sewing palette by just making a project bag? So I made myself a project bag. So I don't know, these will not be for sale in the shop. I apologize, but sewing project bags takes a lot of time. It's more time than I can afford to balance between dyeing yarn and sewing project bags, if that makes any sense. So, you know, it's like, yes, I won't say that I won't ever sell project bags again in my shop, but I need to get that wind of motivation and time to actually sit down at my sewing machine and sew multiple project bags. And right now I just unfortunately don't have that time, but sometimes I find time to make myself project bags, but like this one. So, but yeah, anyway, Nina from the This Old Knit podcast, she is currently hosting a STASHMAS knit along, which is pretty much what it sounds like. It's a knit along where you just work from stash. You work through your stash, and I certainly have a lot of yarn in my stash that's just kind of been languishing or sitting there for a while. So I spotted this, again, I spotted a gradient that I purchased at Vogue Knitting Live last January. And I looked at it and I was like, that would be an awesome Pebble Beach shawl. So I looked at the pattern, and sure enough, I have enough yards for it. And yeah, I cast it on. I believe it's going on, Nina, I have to double check with you, but I believe the knit along is going on through, what is it, Christmas, hence STASHMAS. I could be wrong. I will put the correction in the down bar if I'm totally wrong, but it's going on right now. So if you have stash that you would like to work through, join in the fun, and do check out Nina's podcast, This Old Knit, so for more information on that stuff. And she's awesome, so yay. So anyway, I cast on the Pebble Beach shawl, and here's where I am with it. And the color is actually coming up really well on the camera. This is actually, it looks lighter on the camera because when I'm knitting on it, it's a dark hunter green, and it goes to like this really light gradient, which I'll show you in a bit, but it's almost like I'm knitting with black right now. But I knit through one skein, one tiny skein of the gradient, and then now I'm on a slightly lighter part of the gradient. So right, it's purely just eyelets. And it's pretty mindless knit, it's very intuitive. You just have to, like eyelets are tricky to knit, I find. You have to be very conscious and make sure that your knitting is lined up, that the eyelets are staggered in such a way, if that makes any sense. But otherwise it's pretty intuitive. I know there was a couple of rows where I was like, oh wait, my eyelets aren't lining up the way they should be. But yeah, it's so far a very intuitive knit. And where is the rest of the yarn? Yeah, here's the rest of the gradient. I don't know if you can see that. So yeah, here's the rest of the gradient. So the next color is going to be this one, then it goes, these are slightly out of sequence, but yeah, it's going to go with this darker one, then a slightly lighter one, and then I'm going to skip over to this one and then end with the lightest colorway. And it is Dragonfly Fibers gradient set, Dragon Sock, and it comes with 6, what is it? A total of 585 yards, 6 1-ounce skeins, yeah, and 100% superwash merino. And it's a lovely color, it's a lovely gradient and everything, but the one gripe I do have about the yarn, it's kind of stiff. For a superwash merino, normally superwash merinos are kind of soft, and I find maybe it's because it's such a saturated color, I don't know, but it's kind of stiff and almost has like a rough hand to it. I'm hoping once I block it, it'll soften up a little bit, but I'm not the biggest fan of the base, I will say that. As I mentioned, it just has kind of like a rough, toothy feel to it. So I don't know why that is, but hopefully when I block it, it'll just soften up a little bit. Especially since it's a shawl, because you want shawls to be kind of soft and next to skin. Feels a little scratchy, I don't know, but anyway, yeah. Can't wait to finish this, and I'm very happy that I'm working from stash. So thank you, Nina, so much for hosting this cal. It was very much needed, or the kick in the butt that I needed to just, get through some of the stuff that's been hiding in my stash a little bit. I do have some other plans for STASHMAS. I have some Quarry by Brooklyn Tweed that I want to knit a watershed hat, and I think it's by CHRISSY Graham. She also has a podcast that I'm totally blanking on right now. I'll put it in the down bar, I'm so sorry. She just came out with a beautiful hat pattern called Watershed, and it calls for bulky yarn, and right now the only bulky yarn that I have in my stash is Brooklyn Tweed's, what is it that I just mentioned? Quarry. So that could be a really awesome hat for Dennis, since I purchased the yarn at Gauge Intention for him, at Gauge Intention with the intention of knitting a hat with it for him. Okay, so I am gonna move along to sewing. And again, I have another finished object that I'm wearing. I posted about it over the weekend. And yes, this is the, let me see, I have it in my, see, I don't know if you guys know, but like whenever I finish sewing a pattern, I store all the pattern pieces in these giant Ziploc bags. And I just leave the pattern envelope on the outside so I know which pattern it is. So over the weekend I posted about this on Instagram and I finished it. Yay! You can see I'm wearing it. But yeah, this is Butterick B6021 and it's patterned by Ivy and it's one of their designer patterns by Ivy and Blue. And this just had my name all over it. Because this is something I would totally wear just in general. I know whenever I buy stuff from like ModCloth or H&M or something, which I rarely do anymore, I definitely go for shapes like this, and I had some really lovely fabric in my stash that I purchased from fabric.com, and I want to get that right. Let me see, what is it? It's I mean, obviously I'm wearing it. It's 100% polyester, but according to fabric.com, it's Kashibo, which is 100% lightweight, tightly woven sateen, has a sateen weave, polyester fabric with a slight sheen. So, but yeah, oh, it's very soft. It's very, obviously very drapey, and yes, very lightweight. And I really enjoyed working with it. It was a little slippery, I will say that. And I did line it with polyester. Probably not the best polyester I could have lined it with, but it's passable. So it doesn't, you know, it flows with the fabric. It laid very nicely when I tested it. But it's what I had in my stash and I wanted to make use of it. So, but yes, it's all done. I took some photos of it, so I'll try and insert it here at some point, so you can get the idea of the full look of it and everything. But let me stand up, the awkward boob shot. But yeah, it's, I guess I can take off my cardigan so you can see. But I am so happy with the way this turned out. It turned out a little bit longer than I had anticipated it to, which is usually the case with a lot of patterns. But yeah, and I made a belt, if you can see here, it has an elastic waistline, which I'm not a huge fan of, but I like the fact that the belt covers that ugly scrunching up. So, but yeah, it's just a really lovely, comfortable, pretty much like everyday type of dress I feel comfortable wearing with, and I have pretty much been living in it since I finished it. But here's the back. So yeah, and you'll notice no zipper or anything. It's just got that elastic waistline holding everything up. So on the envelope, the pattern says that it's an easy pattern, which I will say is, they kind of lied a little bit, because when you had to insert the lining and everything, they pretty much say that you have to like pull, you know, everything inside out or pull the lining in order to, I can't even describe this the right way, but when you pull the lining inside out to get everything the way it should be on the right side, if that makes any sense, if you pull the lining through, they wanted you to pull everything through the sleeves. And if you look, these sleeves are super thin, and I don't know, I did a workaround, and I didn't do the seamless sleeve join, if that makes any sense up here. I just kind of turned everything inside out and then just serged it together on the inside. I don't know if you can see that. I just serged it. I have to neaten that up a little bit, but it's fine. Nobody can see it. It doesn't bother me at all. So I was totally fine with that. And otherwise, yeah, it was, I mean, aside from that and a couple of other little workarounds with the waistband and everything, nothing to write home about at all. It's just kind of, you know, the pattern says to do this, I might just do it this way. So it was just kind of a matter of that, you know. And the hem, I will say, I do cheat sometimes when it comes to the hem. I could do a nicer, neater job and maybe a rolled baby hem or something, a rolled hem, but basically what I did for the hem, I don't know if you can see that, I just serged it. Let's see, I serged it, and then after I finished serging it all the way around, I did a straight stitch around, folded it in, and then stitched it again. And that's just the quick and dirty way of hemming a skirt, and just my quick and dirty way of hemming a skirt. So on the outside, it looks like that. And this was the hem that never ended while I was stitching it too. So you can imagine going around 3 times with the serger, once to create that, you know, easy fold line, and then again to tack everything down. It was quite a process, and it's if you see the full photo, it's a very long flowing type of skirt, if you will. So but yeah, otherwise, you know, I will definitely be making more of these because, again, this is something that, a shape that I live in practically. But yeah, what else did I want to talk about with this? It has a, you know, a lining, again, just a short lining. And what I like about some of these patterns is that, you know, like I was looking for a basic template for a, you know, a skirt lining in general that I can just, you know, mix and match with other patterns. And that's the cool thing about these patterns is you can mix and match different pattern pieces from different patterns to, you know, further customize the outfit that you're trying to make. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be using that slip pattern piece for other garments, which I think is really cool. So but yeah, otherwise, what else did I want to say? Yeah, overall, I think this is a really great addition to my fall wardrobe, and some of you might be scratching your heads saying, are you crazy? That has short sleeves. Honestly, in general, I don't enjoy wearing long sleeves, or I never really do wear long sleeves. You know, I wear a lot of short sleeves because I do find that randomly I will get super hot or randomly I'll get super cold. So I just like having the option of, you know, being able to chuck on a cardigan or a sweater and be, you know, have the option of being able to take it off in case I get too hot or whatever. So yeah, I feel like a lot of the items in my wardrobe carry through all the seasons. So I definitely have a lot of dresses that I wear throughout the entire year. So yeah, but anyway, yeah, really awesome pattern. And like I said, I'm definitely going to be making more of these. And this is the first time I really, you know, I made a dress out of fabric that wasn't quilting cotton that I love. You know, it actually fits perfectly. But I find this type of fabric is what I wear a lot of, you know, even from, you know, looking at my current wardrobe that I have, you know, stuff that I bought from the store and everything, a lot of it is like this drapey kind of, I want to say like polyester flowy fabric. So, you know, with that in mind, while I do enjoy the fun prints that, you know, are printed on quilting cotton, I think I should start working with fabric that I enjoy wearing more so, because I feel like, you know, case in point, I've been wearing this a lot. It only makes sense for me to start making garments out of fabrics that I enjoy wearing, right? So I did make a purchase at fabric.com and I purchased some more similar fabrics, chiffon. Actually, so shears, yes, I am diving into the sewing rabbit hole that deals with sheer fabric, you know, obviously with a lining underneath. And I did sign up for a Craftsy class. I'm totally blanking on the name. I'll put it in the down bar. But, you know, I've been watching that on and off just to get kind of like a little, you know, foundation, you know, and obviously I'll rewatch it again in further detail when I dive into working with this other fabric that I got. So let me show you. It's in a giant box right here. All right, yeah, I went to town. I did get some jersey, and I saw this, and I'm a huge fan of burnout jersey. I have a lot of t-shirts that are out of this fabric, and I don't know if you can see that. It has some sheerness to it, but I think this would make a really cool, obviously I'll wear a t-shirt underneath it, but I think this would make a really cool Agnes top or wrap dress, and I really love the color. It's coming up a lot more purpley, but it's kind of like it's like a purple gray mauve colorway. So I got several yards of that. And I will say the cool thing, or the plus side of working with sheer fabric, and I find that they are less expensive to buy than quilting cotton, which usually runs on fabric.com, I think it's around like $9 to $10 per yard for quilting cotton, whereas fabrics like these and chiffons are around like $3 to $5 to $7 sometimes, depending on the content. So I'm just trying to keep these in their respective bags because it has the yardage on it. And I got a similar one. I got a two-tone chiffon plum. I actually didn't take this out yet, so this is really beautiful. It's just like it's not incredibly two-toned, but it's just a purple. It could be a cool skirt. Then I also got I got a lot of solids this time. This really cool emerald green, same type of fabric, chiffon. So let me see, what else did I get? I think that was it as far as, yeah, I got the jersey, and then, oh, and I got lining, obviously, to go underneath. So I got one in just this plain, what is it? It's tricot. Let me see. It's a lot that I got, 5 yards, just because I feel like I'm going to use this for a lot of linings in dresses and skirts. So I got 5 yards, but it's 108 inches wide. And it's just, I think, ivory or beige, or, you know, a natural color to go underneath, like lighter colors. And then I also got the same in black, so which I wear a lot of. So just to give you an idea of what tricot is, you can use it to, if you're into bra making, like Maria from the Stitch in Sweden podcast, you might be familiar with this fabric, but it's really just kind of, this is probably gonna be all blown out, but yeah, it has like a subtle sheen to it, and stretch too. And I noticed a lot of my, you know, store-bought dresses have this fabric in it, like as a lining as well. So I got that, and just because I got some more quilting fabric in this print over here. So yeah, it's just gray mauve. I think moths and flies and bees trapped in spider webs. It'll be an awesome skirt. So yeah, that was my little haul from fabric.com. I think that is it. Yeah, that's all I got. So I'm really looking forward to working with those in the weeks to come. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is the Victorian Make-Along, which is a make-along that I'm co-hosting with Benjamin Credwig from the Design Time podcast. And I'm falling dearly behind. I feel like ever since I got back from Rhinebeck, just I needed stuff to work on that was kind of not involved, if that makes any sense. So my corset kind of fell to the wayside. And this was supposed to be my Halloween costume, by the way. I was going to go as some kind of historical vampire, I don't know what, but I just wanted to wear the corset and create like an undergarment. It's not gonna happen, guys. I'm not gonna make the deadline, unfortunately, but I'm not giving up on it, obviously, because it is a major undertaking, but I'm having, you know, I want to be in the right mindset when I work on it, because it is very involved. And I did try working on it a little bit after Rhinebeck, but I didn't get very far with it. But here is what it looks like still. So I finished stitching the boning channels and inserting the boning into the front of the bodice of the corset. And then I got as far as outlining or stitching the channels into the back portion. And then what really kind of hindered me was I'm using a water-soluble pen to mark, to help guide my stitches for the boning channels. And my pen decided to run out of ink, so I had to order more. So that was a cog in my wheel a little bit. But yeah, I'm definitely, obviously going to finish this because it is just absolutely beautiful, and I love it's like a work of art to me. I don't know, just putting it all together and seeing it, come together. But so I have that, and then I also have the pattern pieces for my mauve corset that is a far simpler construction than this is compared to, which is really the Victorian, what do you call it? This is not considered Victorian, by the way. This is pre-Victorian. I'm not quite sure. I'm not a historian or anything, so I'm not sure like how accurate, or anyway, this might be 1800s, I'm not sure, or 1600s, it could be. These are actually stays. Anyway, I'm rambling because I ramble when I don't know what I'm talking about, apparently. Who knows? But anyway, I will be working on that, and we'll see if I get around to actually working on the Victorian corset. But I am keeping an eye on the thread in the Ravelry group, and yeah, just all the projects that you guys are working on for the Victorian Make-Along are beautiful. Definitely check it. Even if you're not participating, do stop by and check out that thread. It's wonderful. And what was I going to say? Yes, oh yeah, and again, I forget to talk about it. Join the Ravelry group. YarnGasm has a Ravelry group, which you should totally join to join in on these knit-alongs and make-alongs that we have, and just, general conversation and chatter, and to be part of the YarnGasm knitting community. And yeah, I just want to also say, I know this is totally off topic, off sewing and whatnot, but and knitting, but yeah, I have been reading through all the introductions. There's a thread, if you know you're new to the group, you can introduce yourself. I don't respond to all the comments in there only because I would sound redundant, like welcome to the group every time, but I do want to just give a blanket welcome to the group if you've introduced yourself. I really enjoy reading you know, where my viewers come from, what they're about, and yeah, it's just really awesome to have you, and you know, obviously thank you for watching the podcast, and yeah, joining the group, and cannot wait to chat along with you guys. So yeah, and what else was I going to say? I think that is it for sewing. I feel like there was something else I wanted to talk about, but no, I think that was it. So I'm going to move along to Ask Away. This feels like it's going to be a long-ish episode, but Ask Away is a thread in the Ravelry group where you can ask me pretty much anything you'd like about knitting, spinning, making things, sewing, about the podcast, and what have you. So this question is from Trini Girl, and she says, what are your thoughts on frogging? Frogging is when you have made a mistake in your knitting and you rip all the way back and reknit the part, or just save up the yarn. But anyway, she asks, what are your thoughts on frogging and already blocked garment and reknitting again using the frogged yarn? I decided to block the pieces before seaming so that I can easily see the stitches to sew the stitches to the seam, but turns out the front and back are not even, and same situation for each arm. Thanks. Okay, so yeah, when it comes to frogging yarn and reusing and reknitting with it, you can totally do that, but I would advise either, you know, to, after you finish ripping out your yarn, and you know, you have it all in a cake, you know, like in a ball or what have you, I would actually highly recommend re-skeining it. So if you have a yarn swift, and you know, you have your yarn in a ball or a cake or what have you, after you're done ripping everything out, I would just, if you don't have a re-skeiner like I do for my business, you know, just take your yarn swift and re-skein your yarn, or put it back into hank form, and then soak it and let it dry overnight, just to set the twist again, because once you rip out yarn that's already been knit, it's going to be all crinkly and curly, and it's definitely not going to be knit up the same way as it would have fresh out of a new hank. So that would be my recommendation, to reskein it, soak it, and let it dry, and then recake it and knit from it again. But the other thing, if you're using 100% wool to knit your sweater, and you see that certain pieces are off, you can actually mold after, you know, while it's still wet and you're blocking, you can actually mold the pieces to match with each other, because wool has a memory. So you can, that's another option if it's not too far off. If it's by just a little bit, you can totally get away with it. But you know, if it's like a gaping difference, you know, like one arm's this long and one arm, you know, the other arm's this long, you might want to rip it out again and reknit. And that is why it's always good to knit a swatch, knit a swatch, knit a swatch, knit a swatch. I know it's annoying, but you gotta knit a swatch. Or, you know, it also, sometimes you do knit a swatch, but, you know, your mood might be off on a certain day, and one day, you know, the whole time you've been knitting the sweater, you've been relaxed, you've been enjoying it, and then you go to work or something, and then you get totally stressed out and your knitting's like really tight and everything. Yeah, you should probably make sure that you are not knitting on, if you pick up a project and your mood is definitely like not where it should be, you might want to just put that project aside until you're back in a calm mindset, or the mindset that you usually are when you work on the project. Anyway, I hope that helps to answer your question. And again, if you have any questions that you would like me to ask on the podcast, or, you know, answer in the thread, just feel free to leave your questions there. In the YarnGasm Ravelry group. So yes, okay, that was a lot of talking, and I'm gonna take a quick coffee break. I am drinking coffee. Lately, I've just been getting into the habit of drinking my morning cup of coffee, and then the rest of the day it's either like seltzer or tea or what have you, but I'm still working on my morning coffee, and I believe it's already noon. Who knows? But I have to show you my coffee mug, guys. How awesome is that? It's perfectly Halloween, and I did spot it on ModCloth like you do, and I had to own it. So I treated myself to this awesome coffee mug. Just so vintagey and Halloween-y, but anyway, I believe it's by Paper Source. Anyway, I'm drinking Stumptown coffee today, and Stumptown is my all-time favorite coffee to drink these days. It's my fancy treat yourself coffee. I don't get it all the time because I think it's like $15. But it's, yeah, it's like, I think it's $15 per bag or whatever, but I happened to find it on sale at Whole Foods for $12.99, score, so I got a bag of it. But my regular go-to coffee is Dunkin' Donuts hazelnut. So, but something about Stumptown is just so like smooth and mellow and not acidic. I cannot take acidic, like strong good morning coffee, if that's what you want to call it. This has like a very nice mellow taste to it. And I know some of you had actually recommended trying Starbucks Blonde Blend, and yeah, I don't like it. Something about Starbucks coffee I really just don't like. But anyway, I need to take a coffee break. Okay, so I'm gonna put that down, and full disclosure, I am not endorsing either Starbucks or ModCloth or Stumptown coffee. I just enjoy it and feel like sharing those ideas with you. Anyway, yes, shop update. I will be having a shop update on Saturday. It's the last weekend of the month, so that means, yes, International Friendly Shop update. It will be on Saturday, October 29th at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope you can make it. I do have yarn that I already dyed, but I don't have it in my basket at hand, so I will try and post some photos of it here. I will have some Venus Flytrap. I will have some Dirty on Purpose. I will have Outlander, and I will definitely have some more Jilted Rose, some Black Pearl, some I Am No Bird, and I will try, that's what I have so far, and I'm gonna try and dye some more today and tomorrow, so stay tuned. I will definitely keep you up to date as far as what colorways will definitely be in the shop. So I hope you can make it, and again, I will be having a trunk show excuse me, I will be having another trunk show at Do You Knit on the 19th of November, so next week will be the last the last time I have a regular shop update before I take a quick break. I think about a week and a half maybe, you know, to prep for the trunk show, and then again, whatever doesn't sell at the trunk show, I'll put in the shop the following week, and then have a regular shop update that Friday. So I know it's a lot of information to take in, but the best way to get information about my updates is on VoolenvineYarns.com. I always post when the next update will be on the main homepage underneath the main graphic. So you will always be informed as far as when the next update will be. So yeah, I think that is it for shop update. I'm gonna move along to Blather, where I talk about what's been going on in my life, should you care. But yeah, as far as, let me see, TV goes, as I mentioned, Dennis and I have found a new TV show to binge watch, and my friend Dana, who has the Dana Doodle Knits podcast, she recommended Jessica Jones, which is a series on Netflix. It has Kristen Ritter in it, and a couple of other people I don't really recall. I think it's just, I only know Kristen Ritter from there. She's from Breaking Bad. She played Jesse Pinkman's girlfriend who had an unfortunate end to her life. But anyway, she plays Jessica Jones, and it's pretty much a really fun superhero TV show. So it's based on a Marvel comic that I'm not too familiar with. I don't consider myself like a comic book geek or fanatic or anything, so I really know nothing about comics, but I am enjoying watching Jessica Jones. So if you're into that thing, even if you're not into comics, I'm finding it entertaining. So definitely give it a try. I have been watching Poldark season 2, and I'm all caught up. Thankfully, I think there are like 6 more episodes to go in the season. So I've really been enjoying that. I've been, you know, getting a lot of knitting done while watching that. And then what else have I been watching? What else? Oh, I started watching a movie last night. It's actually quite old. I think it came out in like 2009 or something, but it was on my recommended watch list or something. Excuse me, but Amazon Prime actually recommended it to me based on my previous viewing choices. So it's called Blackfield, and it has one of the characters from Vampire Diaries in it. I think it was, I don't know, I'm totally blanking on her name, but apparently it's based on Charlotte, you know, like one of the Bronte sisters novels. It's very gothic and dark and mysterious, and I don't know, it's getting good. I haven't finished watching it, but I will definitely be watching it tonight after I'm done working. So yeah, you know, I'll let you know what I thought of it next week. But yeah, definitely give it definitely check it out if you are into that type of genre. The costumes, again, amazing. And I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, just getting a lot of TV watching done in my downtime, apparently, as you do when the weather gets cold, right? So, but yeah, otherwise, this weekend is Halloween. Dennis and I have a Halloween party to go to on, I think my cat's over there. Hey Goose, wanna come say hello? Come here, come say hi. I think Bella wants to say hello. Hi. Are you all ready for Halloween? Do you have your Halloween costume picked out? What are you going as? Are you going as a black cat? That's a great costume. That's a great costume. Yeah. Anyway, and there she goes. But yeah, so Monday is actually Halloween, 31st. But on Saturday, one of our friends is having a rooftop party, so we're gonna be going to that. Again, will I have my corset costume done? I don't know, but I do have a backup. I ordered vampire teeth, so I will probably just be going as a vampire. I know, it's awful, right? Cat's in the hallway. Terrible that I don't have a costume planned out. I don't know, but anyway, I will put something clever together. I'll find something, but so we have that going on. And then the Molly Girl Trunk Show is happening at Woolen, and we're definitely going to be trying to get to that this weekend. I know it's happening Saturday and Sunday, but I hear there will be black lights present, because if you're not familiar with Molly Girl yarns, I believe most or all of her sock yarn is black light responsive, so there's definitely going to be some kind of like display worth seeing, so I definitely want to check it out. And it's been a while since I've been to Woolen. The last time I went was for the opening party, and I was hoping to get there this past Tuesday, because every Tuesday night they have knit night, and I was planning on going, but then my yarn shipment didn't end up coming until later that day. So, you know, if I didn't go, if I didn't get any yarn dyeing done, I would have been a lost cause. So, because Monday I had a doctor's appointment, didn't get any yarn dyeing then, and anyway, I called it. I was like, I have to get work done. So I unfortunately didn't make it to knit night. But yeah, this Saturday or Sunday, I definitely want to go check out the trunk show. And if you're gonna be in the area, you should definitely stop by. So, but yeah, otherwise, I think that is pretty much it for this week. Feels like it's been a long episode, but anyway, thank you so much for tuning in and watching. And again, show notes can be found over at YarnGasm podcast.com. Feel free to leave a comment. I love hearing from viewers. And yeah, happy knitting, and I will see you next time. Bye.